Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and greetings, Alishan here. Today I have the honor of being the very first to review the newest Xiaomi Mijia 4K action sports camera sitting right before me, and the Xiaomi Mijia 3-axis handheld stabilized gimbal sitting here, especially designed for the Xiaomi Mijia 4K HD action sports camera. Though these are two different products, but they are designed to work together as a whole. So once you put this camera into this gimbal, they are like two bodies, one soul. Previously I have reviewed a whole lot of action sport HD camera. What's new and what is good in Xiaomi Mijia action sports camera? Well, we are going to take a closer look at the camera, its features, its menu systems, its quality, and of course the quality of its media, the media that it shoots, the videos, the pictures, and of course the performance of the camera together with this gimbal, which actually gives this camera a simple advantage over other brands of HD action sports camera, for which you have to look around to find proper gimbals, suitable gimbals, or gimbals that you can fit them in. Not the case here with Xiaomi Mijia products line here. Mijia 4K action camera and Mijia 3-axis handheld stabilized gimbal are designed to work together like one product. Now a little bit about Xiaomi company. Xiaomi started small, but now it has become a giant, a number one or a leading consumer electronics manufacturers in China, including smart home gadgets and electronics. I have used and I am using Xiaomi Mijia products a whole lot, and I simply love them. Xiaomi is designing these products with quality and with client satisfaction or customer satisfactions in mind. I'm a happy owner of many Xiaomi products, including smart home gadgets, and now I'm really happy to be the very first one to have my hands on these two new Mijia action sports camera and handheld stabilized gimbal. Now the best thing I like about Xiaomi products is that you do not have to download one separate app for each different product. For Xiaomi, they have just given you one app. Mi app, easily found on Google Play and app stores. You just have to download one app and then keep adding all the Xiaomi devices to it and keep controlling all devices using one phone, using one app. Now that is the best thing I like about it, because it saves a whole lot of trouble and, you know, does not clutter your phone or your smart devices. Enough said, I am going to put these cameras away and we are going to focus on this camera and this gimbal. Please remember, this video is going to be lengthy because I plan to go in details, check everything out in detail, show you everything about these two products, and that is why the video is going to be very lengthy. So I would suggest please stay with me in this video, watch this video thoroughly from beginning to end in order to find out what is good, what is new, what is unique about these products. So I'm going to put the gimbal aside right here and bring the camera closer to give you an overview and features of this camera right away. Alright, now that you have seen the features, let me just recap the most key features of this camera. Starting with the lens, it's a 7 layers of glass lens with 145 degree of FOV. There's a 2.4-inch LCD screen, which is a touch LCD screen. So you can actually access all the features and set all the parameters, tweak the parameters of camera using this LCD screen. We'll take a closer look at the parameters and menus very soon. This camera is capable of shooting in 4K up to 30 frames per second, which is a very charming feature. It also shoots in 2.5K which actually even more charming for people like us, because we can, if we shoot in 4K, it is actually difficult to edit that video because you need a very powerful computer for it. But with the 2.5K shot with this camera, we can actually provide you very, very crystal clear and even more high definition videos which are easy to edit. Now, when it comes to the 1080p video, it shoots 1080p up to 100 frames per second, which is a very, very good thing. And of course, the camera also have a slow motion feature which you can activate automatically, or you can simply shoot in 720p 200 frames per second manually and then turn it into a slow motion. The camera is running a 1450 mAh battery, which provides a working time up to 2 hours and a standby time up to 4 hours. Wow, that is some serious operating time on this camera. You're not gonna miss making good memories and recording good memories with this camera. On the front, there's nothing but Mijia or Xiaomi logo, an LED indicator, and your camera lens. On top, you have microphone and I believe the speaker, and of course only one button that you will use to stop recording if you are using camera in your hands. At the back side, there's a 2.4-inch LCD screen as I have described before, and of course you will use this LCD screen to frame your shots properly, and or using this touch screen you can configure and tweak all the parameters of your camera. At the right side, there's nothing on the camera, and at the left side you will find a slider that will reveal a USB port, and this is the same USB port that you will use to charge the camera or transfer pictures and videos, or you can also use the Wi-Fi feature of this camera to transfer photos and videos directly to your smartphone or smart devices or your computers. And of course you will be using this to charge your camera, and at the same time when you put this camera into the gimbal, it will be plugged into the gimbal USB port using this one, and gimbal will keep your camera charging throughout the time you're using it, and at the same time the camera will itself control the gimbal and gimbal parameters. So that's what I say, well, when you put the camera into the gimbal, they become like one product. We will see that demo very, very soon. Alright, so this is all about the camera. Now let's take a look at the menu system of this camera. Press and hold the button on the top, that is the only button to turn the camera on. For the very first time when you use the camera, it will give you a pictorial tour right here, what each of these icons mean and what you can do. But very, very simple. If you slide right, you can see 9 shooting modes, which are video, time-lapse video, slow motion, loop record, video plus photo, photo, timer, burst, and time-lapse photo. So you can choose any of these modes to suit your shooting or your requirements for the shooting of videos or your memories. Okay, so once you have selected one of the option, it will go back to that main screen. If you slide left on the screen, you will see album. That means the pictures or videos that you have shot will all be here, and you will be able to manage them like play, delete, etc, etc. Okay, now on the main screen there are 2 different types of parameters or menus. Okay, the first thing is the main menu, that is the main menu. So you will slide from top to down, and you will see you have turn the camera on off, lock the screen, Wi-Fi on off, and camera settings, that is the system setting. When you go to the setup or system settings, you see video standard, SD card, you can format your SD card here. Default mode, that means when you turn the camera on, whenever you turn the camera on, what mode it should go for, like video, picture, or the last used one. I'll use last used. Beep volume, LCD brightness, rotate on the LCD, the LCD orientation rotation, auto screen lock, you can set it. I'll just set it like off. I don't want the screen lock. Auto power off. If you want to use this screen like a viewfinder all the time, I will suggest you turn the auto screen lock off. Okay, then you have Wi-Fi auto on. So if you want the Wi-Fi to turn on every time, you can turn it on, but that will, remember, Wi-Fi takes power. Bluetooth pairing, if you have a Xiaomi Mijia Bluetooth shutter control, you can pair it using this one. In-housing mode, of course, if you have a waterproof housing, you will use this mode on. User guide, date and time, where you can select date and time. Language, yes, do change the language to English. When the first time you turn the camera on, it will give you option to select language. device info and camera defaults. Now when you first turn on the camera, this is what you see. So it gives you a complete tutorial or tour of the features of this OSD right here, so you can actually get familiar with it. It also tells you what kind of TF cards are highly recommended if you want to shoot in 4K. Remember, for 4K you will need a better TF card, high-speed TF card. Okay, alright. Now on top right here you have the icon for your battery that shows how much battery left, and on the top left right here it shows what shooting mode you have and what frames per second and what resolution you're shooting in. Now on bottom right you have a setting icon. This setting icon will switch to each mode setting according to what mode you have selected. For example, right now we are in video mode. So when we select settings, we will have a video settings where you can choose resolution, 4K up to 30 frames per second, 2.5K up to 30 frames per second, 1080p 100 frames per second, 1080p 60, 30, and 720p 200 frames per second, which is very good for shooting slow motions. Then we have a quality, lens distortion, where you don't want lens distortion. If you don't want fisheye effect, you can turn on the lens distortion. Electronic image stabilization, yes, this camera offers 6 axes of electronic image stabilization, 3 axes of gyroscope, and 3 axes of accelerometer. So you can actually turn it on and you will have your camera stabilizing your image electronically. We will take a look at it very soon when we are shooting video. We will actually compare this mode from non-stabilized mode, and we will shoot 2 different videos and see how much difference the EIS or electronic image stabilization makes. Then we have a mic mute if you want to shoot silent videos, stamp, time stamp, metering mode, exposure value, and white balance. Now this menu will actually change once you go and see, let's say, photo. Alright, now you can see you are in photo settings, aspect ratio, output format, lens distortion. Now output format is important. You can also have a DNG, which is a nice option here, because JPEG plus DNG, you can actually edit your video. You can actually edit your photos the way you want. Alright, after that we have a lens distortion, stamping, metering mode, exposure value, shutter, ISO, white balance, and color, where you can select from standard, bright, artistic, film, and classic colors. This is basically very nice. I will probably spend time and take one picture using each color mode, and we will see what difference does it make actually in photos. Okay, now back to other modes. So we have time-lapse video mode, so you can see the settings are different. Okay, you can set intervals, video length, resolution, quality, lens distortion, stamp, metering mode, exposure value, and white balance. So similarly, you will have slow motion, loop record, video plus photo, photo timer, burst, time-lapse video. All of these will have their separate settings that you can access using this little icon right here. For now, I'm going to shoot the videos mostly in 1080p 30 frames per second, but I will also shoot videos in 2.5K and 4K, and I will upload the videos samples to my channel so you can all see. Alright then, so far this was the camera and its menu. Now about the touch screen here, it responds to your touch very promptly. It is very accurate for your touch inputs, and very smooth when it comes to operating your camera's features. Alright, allow me to show you the app, Xiaomi Home app or Mi Home app for Mijia 4K Action Sport HD camera and the gimbal. So everything will be all together. What you need to do is, of course, first run your app, which is the Mi Home app right here. I would suggest running it while your data or Wi-Fi is on, because most of the time it will check the updated firmware, and if you're connected to internet, it will download the updates automatically and then will ask you to update the firmware. Now you can see in my devices I have Mi Action Camera 4K. So now we're gonna go ahead and turn on the gimbal and camera. Give it a few seconds for camera to turn on. Once the camera is on, you will have to go ahead and turn on the Wi-Fi, or you can just go to the settings and turn the auto Wi-Fi on feature if you like. Alright, now Wi-Fi is on. Go back to your app and click on the camera. It will automatically turn on the Wi-Fi in your phone and will attempt to connect to the camera. Once connected, you will see the image on your screen. Alright, once connected, you can see the live image from camera. So you can see as I move the gimbal around, the image changes. So now you have the live video. Once you're connected to camera, you can do a whole lot from here. For instance, you can start, stop, recording photos, video, you can change the shooting modes. So you can click here and you will have all 9 shooting modes, and you can easily switch your camera to that shooting mode. Alright, and of course you can access the album. So you can see what you have been shooting. You can instantly share all your memories, your videos, and you can also set the resolution of the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it to 2.5K, 30 frames per second. Alright, you can also switch lens distortion on and off. So now the lens distortion is on, no fisheye effect, and now you see the fisheye effect. You can also turn on the grid for your shooting references. You can go to the settings. Normally, the first time when I was using it, Xiaomi app has a camera setting and the gimbal settings right here. But yesterday I was speaking to Xiaomi group who actually produces these cameras. They said that the gimbal settings have been blocked for a while in this app, but today the gimbal settings should be back on. So you will have a camera settings and gimbal settings parameters. So you will have a camera settings, and similarly you will have a gimbal setting here. It should be back today. As soon as it's back, I will try to make an update for that. Of course, just like camera settings, when you have gimbal settings, you can always go to the settings and change all the settings and parameters of your camera. And similarly, when you go to the gimbal settings, you will have of course the gimbal parameters setting, which I can show you that that basically it will be similar to something like this. So it will be similar to something like this. One moment, let me just adjust it so you can see all. So you have scenarios where set up scenarios, normal, sports, and variable. If you're wearing the gimbal, you should set it to variable. If you want more torque, more speed for the tracking, you can go to the sports mode, which is one of my favorite, of course, so I will select that. And of course you can also do yaw and pitch a direction reverse. You can also get device info to check your firmware, and you can set your stabilizer to its factory default. Alright, so the similar thing you will be seeing right here in the app menu or app settings. So you will have a camera settings and you will have a gimbal settings. I'm sure that option will be back to Mi Home app very soon today. So that was a detailed look at the camera and its menu systems. 6 axis of electronic image stabilization that will actually ensure that if you're using this camera in your hands, your video will still turn out very smooth. However, remember one thing: when you turn on the electronic image stabilization, the video or picture will be kind of zoomed in a bit, and that's how they do image processing to stabilize the video. So what we will do is we will shoot 2 different shots, 2 different videos using the camera in my hands while I'll walk around the house or I will run, and we will see how well the electronic image stabilization is working. We will put both videos side by side to test the EIS on this camera. Personally speaking, I'm not the fan of electronic image stabilization for the way it zooms in the image or a video image. I'm actually a big fan of mechanical stabilization, and for which we have the perfect tool right here, the Xiaomi Mijia gimbal. So if you ask for my recommendation, I will simply say get this camera together with this gimbal, because that's where you will take full advantage of the features of this camera and the gimbal. You will be shooting highly stabilized videos very smooth footage using the camera and the gimbal together, because mechanical stabilization is something that you cannot beat no matter how good is your electronic image stabilization algorithm. Alright, so this was the camera. Now let's focus on to the Xiaomi Mijia gimbal. Come on, you know what to do. Hit that like button. It's right there. I know you can do it. Oh, while you're at it, also hit the subscribe button. Right there. Come on, don't be shy. Just hit it. Thank you very much for all your support towards my work, that I post regular and fresh content on my channel just for you. Hit that like button right there.